So hi guys and welcome to my channel. I suppose that you're here right now because you're either thinking about working from home because maybe you own your own business, you work between offices and your own place, maybe you're in the middle of a pandemic. And it can be a really difficult thing trying to work at home. I've had both the experience of working in an office and at home, and there's definitely benefits to both of it. Obviously, the biggest benefit of working at home is to save money. So what I'm going to share with you is a few ideas that you can consider when designing your office space at home to be the most productive and the most beneficial for your business. So the first thing you actually need to think about is, what do I actually need to do in this space in order for me to be able to do the work that I do? Is your work focused around computers and administration work? Do I need to be able to have space to have a computer setup? Or potentially using like a digital setup such as like editing, music decks, editing suite, graphic tablets? Or do you think it's more of a physical kind of setup, maybe for like writing or spreading out documents or laying out work? And basically, this just helps you think about kind of like some of the logistics of where you're going to physically locate your desk. Thinking about a place in your house where there's going to be access to plug sockets and where potentially the light isn't going to be able to come onto the screen. So thinking about some of the uses that you may take in your everyday day-to-day tasks, it's important and crucial to think about this right now, just to help you think about some practical logistics of where you're going to locate this desk in your space. And this leads me nicely on to number 2, which is to choose the right location for your office. If you can, I would always advise about trying to keep your living space and your home office space in 2 separate locations. This is to help 2 reasons. 1, to help keep your living space and your home actually looking like your home where you live and where you feel like you could escape work. And then also to help productivity, to make sure that you're not just procrastinating when you're in your house. Working for yourself or from home, it's so easy to get distracted. Just look over at your cozy bed and just want to climb right back into it. Just take a little trip to the fridge and have a snack. But you wouldn't do that at work, you wouldn't do that at school, so you shouldn't do it at your home office. So ideally, if you had a dining room that you didn't use, a spare bedroom upstairs, or even like a converted garage, these are like the ideal spots where you can have a whole room layout to be able to go in and feel like you're going into work mode, where you can leave and return back to your home. But I understand that this is not possible for everyone. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, which is above a garage, but my garage is not ready to be converted yet because it's full of stuff still. So I need to make sure that I'm actually able to work in the space that I do have now upstairs. So what I've done is that I actually have this little corner nook in my living room, which kind of like tucks away into the back of the room. So actually when you first walk in, you can't even see it. The previous owners of this house also did used to have this as a desk space, and I kind of transformed it into something that works a little bit better for me. So for me, it kind of like meant that I was going to like enter into this new kind of space where I could focus and work and then come back out into the living room. It kind of like was a floor to ceiling space, so I was able to put some storage at the top and have the desk at the bottom. I did think about putting potentially a curtain over the cross, and I think I would have done that if I was creating a space that was really cluttered or really ugly, but because I've really tried to aesthetically make it look nice for the space, I've been able to keep it open. And this leads me on to my 3rd thing, which makes sure that you get your setup correct and comfortable. The worst thing is being at your home office and being so uncomfortable that the only thing you want to do is climb back into your bed. I'm thinking the right tables, the right chairs that are adjustable, chairs that fit the use of the amount of time you need to spend in it. There's no point getting a really attractive chair or a dining room chair and there's absolutely no support in your back. You can't adjust it to the height of your desk. I've gone for this chair just off Amazon actually. So my desk is just one of the simple affordable desks that you can get at IKEA, where you're able to choose the customization of the tabletop and the legs as well. It's a lovely white stylish high back chair, which for me supported my back and my neck whilst I was working and had the ability for me to be able to like roll around and move about a little bit so I could zoom into my desk. And obviously because I am designing a space that I actually want to be able to have to live with as well, I did make sure that I went for a design that was aesthetically pleasing to my house. The bigger ones were slightly more comfortable, they had a bit of padding. But I thought if I'm going to have this in my living room, it does need to look nice at the same time. So I felt like it was a happy compromise instead of just getting like one of those beautiful clear plastic chairs, which looks stunning, but however, it's just not going to be comfortable enough for me to be able to sit in for potentially 8 to 12 hours every single day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link below some of my favourite office chairs so that you can have a look at them as well. Other things that are really important for you to think about with posture, but if you are sitting long at home potentially and you have short legs, sometimes I'll put a small pillow under my feet to kind of like raise my legs up, which kind of like raises my legs from being in this kind of position to this position, and that just helps your back kind of align a little bit, and it is really comfortable when your feet are all cozy on something soft. And one other thing that I do have on my desk is a laptop stand, and this just helps raise my laptop up into the air a little bit, which allows me to kind of like look at it without having to look down, so my neck stays constantly straight looking at it rather than being like this all the time, which can give a little bit of strain here. I can already feel it, like if you were to do that. Compared to that, if you do work off a desktop computer, this won't necessarily be a problem. But if you've got a laptop which you kind of like would hold more down here, if you want to raise it up to there in that position, that's a lot more natural for you to look at. And when I use my laptop stand, I also use a wireless mouse and keyboard just so that my hands can remain at the desk while my head is at a better posture. My fourth tip brings me on to clever storage solutions. You are going to most likely have, if you're working from home, a lot of stuff. These are things that you need to think creatively about how you can set up in your house, because you're not going to be able to take advantage of the massive filing cabinets down the corridor that you can just put your stuff in and keep your desk looking nice and tidy. But if you are lucky enough to have your own room where you're setting up your office space, you can take advantage of some beautiful storage options that are available online, and I'll link down some great options as well below. However, if you are like myself and you don't have the space to be able to actually put in additional cupboards, you're going to have to get creative with what you've got. For me, and the sake of design, I have opted to try and make my space look nice still. I don't want to walk in and feel like I'm actually just going to turn around in my beautiful apartment and just look into this horrible corner which is absolutely cluttered with stuff. So I've got 2 shelves which are actually open plan. Now I understand if I was to put a cabinet up there and I could close the door, I might be able to actually have a design that maybe allows me to store a little bit more up there, but I just wanted that area, because it was already in a corner, to just feel a little bit more breathy and a little bit more stylish and aesthetically pleasing for me to look at every single day. So you can see that I use this lovely little wooden drawer set from IKEA to hold all my pens, and I have a few acrylic makeup tubs as well that I've used to be able to put in some swatches and other small items. But because I have opted for a solution which doesn't actually hold the most storage space, I've actually opted to use my cabinet in my living room. So this holds a lot of my camera equipment that I have, this holds a lot of my books and a lot of my swatches. At the top drawer, it has all my architectural drawing equipment. So it actually holds a lot of storage, but because it just looks like I'm looking at my regular TV, this storage is able to be hidden away in my apartment. It just means that a lot of things that I don't want to be on show are off show, and I don't have to bring in really bulky, big kind of like pieces into my house, which are going to dominate the space that I have because it is so small. So sometimes, for instance, if I'm just sitting at my desk and I just want to be able to pick up a pen, I want to be able to grab it that quickly, which is why that kind of stuff needs to be in my kind of like peripheral vision. And then other things like a book or something that I'm not going to use straight away, I can have at the cupboard, and I only have to walk 5 feet across the room to be able to get it. But it just means that where I am, practical, and I'm using my space efficiently so that I'm not just overcrowded with everything around me. So my next tip is to thinking about setting the mood for working. Yeah, setting the mood. Kind of like set moods that you're able to focus, relax, and stay productive. One key thing is lighting, and something that I actually have discovered is that as much as I love this little corner for productivity, if I wanted to feel like I wanted to kind of like just like open up and draw something or create or think of ideas, being in that corner didn't help me, and I ended up kind of like sitting on my sofa and sitting on my little coffee table again because I just wanted to feel a bit more free. And it's because it was too dark, and simply just something as small as like adding a lamp to my setup just meant that when I was in that corner, it was just a little bit more warming to be in there, especially at night time as well, if I wanted to be able to actually focus down onto some work. Because where my lights are positioned, they're positioned quite in the center, so then when I was cooped up in that corner, the light doesn't really bend in that way. But yeah, thinking about different lights and different lights for different setups as well. So when you choose a bulb, you can either choose like a warm light or a cool light if you understand the tungsten. In the daytime, people prefer to work by white lights as well to be able to flood your space, so that even if you're in a dark corner, you're able to have like ample of this. So the warm tinted one will kind of like give your room a warm ambience, a softer look, helps you relax and focus. Great for the evening potentially when you want to do some extra hours but you don't want to feel like you're going to get a headache from working extra. Think about like setting a romantic mood for yourself or going on a date for yourself with your laptop. So for evening lights, lamps are great options because you can put a soft bulb in there and they look aesthetically pleasing. And then potentially for daylights, if you don't have access to kind of like a ceiling light that's going to come across you and like spread loads of light across you, I'd potentially think about investing in a small little appliancer that you can have in the room, or potentially thinking about downlights like spotlights that you can put creatively around your space. Something else you can do is, because if you are working by yourself and you live alone like myself, when you stop typing on your keyboard or when you take off your headphones, the only thing you're going to hear is this. Real sounds from my apartment, guys. Absolutely nothing. So if that is the case, you don't want to be able to be sitting here and just kind of like living in dead silence. I have nothing on right now because I'm recording, but usually when I'm in my apartment anyway, I kind of have some background noise on. And this is especially as important when you're trying to work. And even if you do live with someone and you don't live completely alone, but you're going to be alone during the day when you're working at home, it's so nice just to have a little bit of background music on. Spotify has like loads of playlists that like work from home, that are like work focused vibes, so you can feel like you're at the office but you're at home. So the next thing is to be flexible. If you're working at home, you're either self-employed, a freelancer, entrepreneur, or working in some sort of format, which means surely have enough decision power to be able to decide if you want to work from home. Just because you have a desk space doesn't mean you have to be stuck to it. In the evenings, as I've mentioned, I like to move over to the sofa, or often in the mornings or on sunny days where I don't need to do some heavy duty kind of work, I'll move over to my second desk screen that looks out the window. And I'll be honest, I actually made it for my cat because the windows are frosted at the bottom and she's scared to go outside at the moment, but I wanted her to be able to see outside because I don't have any window ledges. But anyway, I still make use of it too. But it works great as a second desk, and it's nice to have the flexibility to move around to a working position that feels right for what I'm doing at the time and take advantage of different features of my home. So those are my top tips for creating an office space set up at home. It's your own working space in your own home, so you have the freedom to decide how to make it custom to work just for you. Just be sure to plan ahead and create a space that you feel drawn to wanting to work in every single day. And thanks for watching my first video, guys. It's been a blast making it. And if you found any of these tips useful, be sure to like and subscribe to see more interior, DIY and business videos from me. Apartment tours and bedroom makeovers with Sideman all day.
You walk in, you don't walk like a mile in that, but you do enter the room and you can kind of close the door if you like squeeze up in that. You know what I'm saying?
As well as my solo travel experience to Malaga in Spain and the apartment tour. And this leads me nicely. And this leads me on nicely to and this leads me on to the this leads And this leads me nicely on to number 2.